In this video, I'm gonna be going over how to abuse the aim assist after the recent update here in Battlefield 6. I'm also gonna explain how to control recoil and take your gameplay to the next level. If that sounds good, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications to stay up to date with any and all tips and tricks. So let's first talk recoil control, and then we're gonna expand to aim assist and how you can abuse it here in Battlefield 6. We're gonna use the TR7 in the firing range so I can fully explain how to control recoil. This weapon has 0 recoil controlling attachments on it. The TR7 is notorious for having some of the more random and hard to control recoil here in Battlefield 6. Now, once you go ahead and jump in the firing range, and most people are just going to pull down on the trigger, this weapon is all over the place. It's shooting straight up. You got some horizontal recoil mixed into it. It is very difficult to use if you do not know how to control recoil. And this is how a lot of people, unfortunately, are playing Battlefield 6. They're just going ham on the trigger. They're not burst firing. And they're also not going ahead and pulling down on the right thumbstick. This is very important. This is going to work for every single FPS game that has weapons that have vertical as well as horizontal recoil control. And by the way, if you don't have enough time to play and need weapon or rank leveling assistance, Mitch Cactus has you covered. They offer legit and fast services like leveling up your guns and military ranks, and also helping you complete any hard challenges in game. Trusted by the community and seen all over on YouTube, Mitch Cactus has over 20,000 verified reviews and thousands of personal vouchers, making them the go-to for all things Battlefield 6 and also games like Call of Duty. You can use my code EARS to save 5% off, limited time only. Now again, I'm going to showcase this again. When you do 0 recoil control, this weapon is uncontrollable, but when you pull down on the right thumbstick, even if you're not burst firing it, you can see how much more controllable and how easy this weapon is to use at those medium as well as longer ranges. Now, obviously, this weapon, again, it has a lot of recoil, but if you just go crazy and just pose it, you're not gonna hit any type of targets whatsoever at longer ranges. But if you pull down, it is gonna be a lot more controllable and you're gonna be able to hit your shots. Now, when you go ahead and couple this with burst firing on weapons that have a lot of recoil, you're gonna find yourself outgunning players very, very easily, no matter where they are on the map, and you'll be getting yourself a lot of faster time to kills, especially after the bloom reduction update. You guys can see when you start coupling and pulling down on the right thumbstick as well as burst firing, you are going to be able to hit a lot more shots, and you're going to be a lot more deadly at those medium as well as longer ranges. Again, I'm running a weapon that has no recoil controlling attachments that already has a bunch of recoil. You want to make sure that you're pulling down on the right thumbstick ever so slightly, and it's gonna essentially give your guns a negative recoil effect in Battlefield 6, and this is how you can outgun players a lot easier at those longer ranges. Now, once you go ahead and master that, I want you to go to the firing range with an updated class setup. Let's go ahead and put some recoil controlling attachments on here like you would do normally. This is something I recommend doing. First, get used to this without having any recoil controlling attachments, and then go back in there with some recoil controlling attachments. You're gonna see a massive improvement to your gameplay. As you can see here, we have recoil controlling attachments. I'm not gonna control it whatsoever. We're just gonna hose the trigger. It is a lot easier to go ahead and use, but at the same time, you should not be doing this regardless. You should be going ahead and pulling down on the right trigger and then going ahead and burst firing. Let me go ahead and showcase how much easier this weapon is to use when you actually pull down on the trigger. It's almost like it has no recoil. The TR7 becomes one of the better assault rifles, and it becomes one of the lower recoil assault rifles when you actually start building your class setups with recoil controlling attachments and pulling down on the right thumbstick. It's going to be like glue on the sticks at those longer ranges, and it's going to be a way that you can control your weapons a little bit easier and make everything a little bit smoother and better feeling here in multiplayer as well as red sec. Yes, this tip is going to work in red sec as well. In all reality, you 100% should be using this in red sec. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that you are burst firing at those longer ranges to remove as much deviation as possible and to make sure that you're getting, the fastest time to kills. But this is something that a lot of people, I feel, sleep on here in Battlefield 6. Again, make sure that you are pulling down on your right thumbstick so you're going to be as accurate as possible and you can outgun players a little bit easier at those medium and longer ranges. Now, in order to abuse the aim assist and improve your aim after update here in Battlefield 6, I'm going to quickly go over the controller settings. As you can see, I play with an Xbox Elite controller on PC with one paddle on the back, the short paddle set up for jumping. But this is going to work no matter what controller you're playing with and also no matter what console you're playing on or PC. I also play on the alternate button layout, which is going to remap crouch and prone, so I can drop down to a prone by pressing down on the right thumbstick. Very helpful when trying to get behind cover and overall be a harder target to hit and win more gunfights at those closer ranges because you can do a drop shot. Now, once you expand the infantry aim settings, you're going to see here that I play on a 40 infantry aim sensitivity. I also have invert vertical look turned off. My field of view is set to 120. And I also have my vertical aim ratio set to 50 and zoom ratio set to 75. Make sure you shut off uniform infantry aim. You're not going to need this, especially after the update, because we are going to be utilizing centering as well as snap aiming here in Battlefield 6. So you can outgun targets very, very easily. Infantry aim assist is going to be set to 100. The slowdown is also going to be set to 100. And for the aim input curve, I recommend playing on Battlefield 3 as well as the zoom input curve. And for the acceleration preset, Battlefield 1 is going to feel incredibly nice with the infantry aiming left and right acceleration set to 30. I highly recommend going ahead and giving these a try. Everything is going to work hand in hand when trying to outgun players very easily and also very, very efficiently at those closer ranges as well. You'll be able to snap on the players and move from target to target to target and overall improve your gun skill. Everything else here is going to be the same. I've not made any other changes except that I have went ahead and set my infantry zoom sensitivity to 80. The zoom transition sensitivity smoothing is going to be turned off. And for 1 all the way to 4.5, I've actually reduced it from 100 to 80 just so you can track players a little bit easier. And for the 5x to the 10x, I bumped it up to 110. So if you are running a higher zoom optic, it's not going to feel like you're stuck in the mud. You can track players at longer ranges that are moving a little bit easier. Everything else here is going to be the same. I've not made any other adjustments. The only thing you're going to have to do after going ahead and adjusting your controller settings is going all the way down and adjusting your controller tuning. Now, you do want to turn off vibration, so there is little play in your controller. You don't want to have any rumbling that could throw off your aim and accuracy. And you also want to adjust your dead zone settings. Dead zones are going to be personal preference depending on your controller health. If you have a lot of stick drift, you might have to deviate from my settings. The fastest way to figure out if you have a lot of stick drift is to go on the firing range, place your controller down, and if your character starts to move up, down, left, or right, you're going to have to fine tune your dead zone settings. But since we went over all these, let's go ahead and explain how to improve your aim and also abuse the aim assist after the update here in Battlefield 6. Now, once you jump in the firing range, you want to make sure that you are practicing centering. Now, centering is going to be making sure that the center white dot that you see on the screen is always going to be pointed toward an area that you think enemies are going to be coming toward. That white dot is where the aim assist is going to essentially lock onto, snap to, and that's when you're going to be introducing snap aiming as well. Now, what you want to do in the firing range is make sure that you get this down. You guys can see wherever that white dot is, when I snap to aim down sight, that's immediately where the reticle is going to go. So in the firing range, you just want to literally walk, snap, general area, walk, snap, and you're gonna get the overall rhythm of how this feels. What a lot of players do in Battlefield 6 is, let's say there's 2 people here, it will literally shoot and then they'll drag to the next target. You don't need to do that. You guys can see that the aim assist, once you start to get close to targets, it is going to slightly slow down, even more so after the update. Now, once you go ahead and master centering and snap aiming, you do want to go ahead and start shooting the targets in the firing range. You'll be able to see that once you go ahead and get that centering down, you're going to see that the aim assist is going to lock on to the nearest target relatively easily. At longer ranges, it is going to be a little bit difficult, but again, that is just going to be the nature of Battlefield 6. Those medium range gunfights, you're going to want to make sure you're burst firing, obviously longer ranges as well, but it's going to be really, really helpful when trying to engage multiple different targets at the same time and overall be a more accurate player no matter where enemies are on the map. Again, you want to make sure that you are centering properly, snapping, so you can transition from target to target as quickly as well as easy as possible. Something that I feel like a lot of people do not do here in Battlefield 6. They just fire mindlessly and they're not really thinking about how to actually abuse the aim assist and control recoil. So this is how you can abuse the aim assist and improve your aim here in Battlefield 6 with some tips on how to control recoil. If this video does help you out, feel free, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, and after watching the video and checking out these settings and jumping into a gameplay, let me know how you are feeling.